I know ahead of time this is going to be painful, but we've gotta commit. We started with Carl Baugh. We started his little Creation and Symphony series. We've got to finish it. And by finish it, I mean devote several streams to this off and on. Because right now, if I minimize myself, there we go. We have gone through from this particular playlist upload. We're at the fifth video of 16. So we have a ways to go. That being said, I'm not even going to bother much with a preamble. We're just going to get right into it because I mean, it just starts immediately. Like these could have at least been chopped up into reasonable segments, and the Creation Evidence Museum couldn't even do that. And this was only 10 years ago. No, yeah, 10 years ago. Sorry, my vision's crappy, so I actually can't can tell. Like, is that 10 years ago or 16 years ago? I can't tell anymore. But all right, enough preamble. Let's get right to the word salad.
Incremented intervals inside the Earth, you have a barrier of radioactive.
See what I mean? It literally just starts up mid sentence. They could have cut these better. But that implies that they actually tried or cared or knew anything.
Active materials or a band of radioactive materials, then a barrier of moderating, insulating materials, all the way down.
As described in the last stream, moderation when talking about nuclear science does not mean what you think it means. And Brock, this is a creationist by the name of Carl Baugh, someone who is older than Kent Hovind. He is a master of word salad, and I only bring up the fact that Carl Baugh is older than Hovind because if you look at more recent videos from him, he is actually more understanding of how the internet works than Kent, which is incredible given this guy's 20 years older than Hovind. But he's a master of pure word salad. He has the most obtuse way of saying anything, and you're gonna hear it. You can't miss it. I learned of this guy from the same place I learned of Kent Hovind. Logic did a video series on him, and yeah, it's wild.
To the core itself. Now, the core is extremely important. All of this is extremely important. Are you getting the idea that in Creation and Symphony, on day number 3 of creation, when God said, "Let the dry land appear," all of the dry land of planet Earth appeared as an orchestrated unit with a central iron nickel core.
I swear, I feel like this was in the last video segment that we watched, but I know we didn't like accidentally jump to this one because that was a 30-minute video segment, the last one. So I don't know if this is just a repetition of it or what, because it feels oddly familiar. But it could just be the fact that Carl, much like Hovind and other creationists, repeats himself so much.
Whose primary function would be to keep the magnetic field appropriately oriented.
Welcome, Allie, Nubifier, and of course Brock. Welcome everybody, and the couple other people out there who haven't popped up and said hi in the chat. Don't be afraid. I'm friendly. No, yeah, I just decided to do an off the cuff, surprise one. Today's a yawn fest for me. I'm just fatigued. But I put out that little video on Hovind earlier. If you hadn't seen that, check it out. I just go over his obsession with his hatred of pseudonyms and his obsession with real names, in a way of talking to him about it. It's meandering, but what do you expect from me? But then I thought I'd at least do this if I didn't get to something later today, but I'll probably stream a couple of times today. It's in my nature.
Beyond that, you have an outer core. And then you have a huge band of
See, he's literally repeating what he just said as we started. He does this. It, it's it's like it's not even like a broken record. It's like intentionally placed in there. It's so freaking weird. And again, moderation does not mean what you think it means when it comes to discussing radioactive materials, Carl. You know nothing.
On that, you have sheaths of radioactive materials interspersed in layering systems. Then you have a moderating band, a swaddling band, if you please, of asphalt and hydrocarbons.
And he always says asphalt. What's the definition of asphalt? Because I'm pretty sure that's explicitly a mixture of dark bituminous pitch with sand or gravel used for surfacing roads, flooring, roofing, etc. Yeah, so it is a completely artificial material. It is something we engineered. It is the name for a compound that we created for a purpose. This is a common thing if you haven't seen these Carl Baugh streams from me, is that I get absolutely dumbfounded by the idiocy of what he says. And I treat it like I don't expect this to happen. I know it's going to happen. I expect it to happen, and yet I'm still surprised. It's like this with just about every creationist, though. Putting off the inevitable, let's get to more Carl.
To keep that energy, temperature distribution at a constant level. Above that, you have the great Tehum of water.
The great Tehum of water? What the fuck? Oh, man. And these stupid citations pop up just constantly. The citation boils down to, hey, this word that I used in this load of garbage happens to be mentioned in this particular document.
Great deep to take those thermal energy.
Or the citations are other creationist literature, like right here. It's so pathetic.
To receive them and to actually transfer a gently warmed water system through the granite structure, through the crystalline silica, sand, into the clays, the fountains and rivers of the earth. Did you get what I just said?
No, Carl, because everything you say is fucking word salad. You have the iron core, and around it is hot radioactive materials, and then a moderating layer. And then you have asphalt and other materials, that is to say, insulation for the warm waters through the thermocatalytic regent, or whatever Guild Wars stuff I'm going to put in. Did you get that, class? No! I mean, Hovind sucks at teaching, but Carl, good lord. Why use few word when more word take forever? I don't know. Tried to reverse that joke. It didn't go well, but y'all feel me. Do you feel me? Man, and I'm devoted to 3 of these videos. Like we're going through 3, 8 to 10 minute videos in this stream. It's going to be a long afternoon, ladies and germs.
As the background of the entire creation was orchestrated, so the foreground is now orchestrated. I'm saying that in the original creation, you didn't have uranium deposited on the surface of the earth, radioactive materials in great pockets. Those radioactive materials are a result of a disturbance that we will study shortly. But
is this disturbance as if millions of lives suddenly cried out in terror and then were suddenly silenced? Because that's the only great disturbance I care about. Y'all hear me out there? You get the reference? Hope so.
originally, these radioactive materials with half-lives sometime into the billions of years were actually a part of the internal structure of the Earth. That solves a dating problem.
No, it doesn't. The fuck are you talking about? I'm going to poorly describe the nature of Earth. Do you get that? Uranium wasn't on the surface. That solves a dating problem. Okay. You seem to forget the steps where you explained anything.
The evolutionary community has postulated that since uranium-235 takes a little over 4 billion years to lose half its mass, therefore the Earth is a little over 4 billion years in age. That's a non sequitur. That doesn't match. Just because uranium-235 has in excess of 4 billion years in half-life does not say that the Earth is 4 billion years old. It simply says that in the original structure, there were radioactive designs with a perfect balance. I live not too far from the Comanche Peak nuclear reactor. Inside that reactor is a core. That core is essentially designed with insulating, moderating elements, with pellets interspersed.
God damn it, Carl. Moderation does not mean what you think it means. You fucking idiot. I can't get over that. To constantly use when talking about nuclear science, the term moderation, as if it's analogous to insulation, to cushioning, to protections, to barriers. No. And I explained this in the last one, but for those of you who don't know, your general neutron products from fission events, neutron emissions, which are the main, catalyst for your chain reaction. Under most normal conditions, the neutrons are traveling too fast to actually bond with other radioactive isotope nuclei to make them unstable enough to undergo their own fission events. What you use is a neutron moderator, graphite, heavy water, some light water, what have you, to slow the neutrons down just enough, hence moderating their speed, moderating their thermal energy in a sense, to where they are more likely to be captured by other fissile isotopes and thus make them unstable enough to undergo fission, thus releasing heat and more neutrons to continue the chain reaction. So, neutron moderating materials make reactions more intense. See how bass-ackwards what he says is and why it's giving me such a headache? Like, I love nuclear science. Like, the working mechanisms of nuclear power and stuff are something I really, just totally spaz out into. So it really, really gives me a headache when this idiot talks like that. Let's continue. Hopefully I won't pass out from the amount of cringe happening over here.
First, at engineered designed levels, pellets of fissionable radioactive material. As those pellets are lowered into shafts, then you have...
Actually, Ali, technically speaking, the thermal activity keeping the core of the Earth, or keeping the Earth's mantle, crust, core, everything, hot, is based on radioisotope decay. That is the source of the heat. So in one sense, Earth is. And that's what he's running on, is the idea that, well, we know scientifically Earth's a nuclear reactor in a very broad sense, but not in the way he thinks it is. Again, he's trying to act like the radiation doesn't reach us and hurt us because of these moderating materials. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. It's ridiculous.
A controlled generation of thermal energy, heat. That heat is then applied adjacent to water.
And yeah, this whole thing is definitely, let me use a whole lot of words to make myself sound really smart. That's Carl Ball's whole technique, but he went way overboard with it.
Waters. Those waters turn to steam, turn turbines, which generate electricity, and we get the result here in the Metroplex in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Basically, the same concept is in view in the original creation. Inside planet Earth, you have a central core maintaining the electromagnetic field that had been created on days number 1 and enhanced on day number 2. And then
Yeah, you're coming in the middle of some stuff if you haven't seen the previous streams, audience. So there's some deep lore going on here with Carl Ball's creation in Symphony with this whole, here's the 6 days and I'm going to explain all of it with weird details and just come up with my own Bible fan fiction because I'm Carl Ball. And now I use the Hovind voice. Because apparently the Hovind voice, thanks to AJ, is now how we mock all creationists.
Beyond
At least it's how I wind up doing it.
on that core, you have insulation and moderating elements, giving a gently, perfectly balanced nuclear reactor
Hey, Jess.
result to heat the waters and to generate a warm temperature for the Earth's streams and systems. It has been found that plants whose roots are heated just a few degrees above ambient produce more foliage and more stature.
More foliage. So you're telling me that plants that have warmed roots produce more offspring deer and the like? You know, foliage. You mean foliage? There's an I in there, buddy. What is it with creationists and being illiterate?
So it's logical and natural that this orchestrated system on day number 3 in the first part would be designed for the second part. So on day number 3, God created the first botanical life forms. Now, as He created those forms, He created them with immediate youth and functional maturity. Let me prove that to you.
I don't like where this is going. Immediate youth and functional maturity. That sounds very unsettling. I may or may not need an adult. I'll let you know.
These vines and trees and grasses and shrubs and systems were so complete that the fruit was on the vine. Not only was the fruit on the vine, the seed was in the fruit. That
You know, Christians always have to go through this long explanation of this stuff and can't just say, oh, things were just, created in situ, in progress, in effect. That's all they have to say, and we get it. Doesn't make it right, but they don't have to over-explain this stuff.
meant that they were created with immediate youth, no scars, no blights, no marks of age. Immediate youth.
I think that's what he's getting to here. I think. Because I don't think the sun... Because we're in day 3. I forget the order. Because I care about actual reality as opposed to this nonsense. I don't know why I always have to stress that. I guess just to piss off Hovind. Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to address here, is that. Like with having the water be warmed and I guess the atmosphere and ambient temperatures be warmed by the nuclear moderation inside of the planet.
Functional maturity. The fruit was on the vine and the seed was in the fruit, so that the fruit was ready to be harvested and ready to be reproduced. Well, throughout the entire
And every single thing shown there, in one way or another, has been selectively bred by humans. That watermelon ain't normal. Those bananas are straight up unnatural. And the rest of that shit, I'm sure we mucked around with it in some way. We have a nasty habit of doing that, just messing with things. Humans.
creation, all the creation is designed with functional maturity. So watch what we have on day number 2. And then on day number 3. On day number 2, the firmament was created.
I mean, I seem to be good at filling up a couple of hours full of complete garbage, and yet I still manage to get points across. So I don't understand how it's so hard for these creationists. If my dumb ass can do it, anyone can.
On day number 3, the dry land appeared, and the first botanical life forms were designed, engineered, and created instantly. With the creation of the dry land, you of course have the atmospheric.
We got a whole 2 hours to use on this EP VHS tape. I better make sure to fill the whole thing up. Gotta use a lot of words. Bah. Yeah, bah doesn't work much like horrent. Bah, bah. Car bah. There we go.
Gases. So the atmosphere is in place. Watch this.
Well, not man-made, but just heavily influenced by our meddling.
The Earth had a slightly smaller diameter than we currently enjoy. We know that from studies.
Well, Carl, where did all this matter come from? Outer space? I seriously don't know what he's on about. Let's look at this reference. Geophysicists incorrectly imply ancient Earth at 80%. It even says incorrectly imply. What? Do you even read what you're... No, of course not. You're a creationist. We've already established you're illiterate. And if you were illiterate, you wouldn't be a creationist. It's all coming together, isn't it?
In astrophysics and the
Thanks, audience. I couldn't do this without you.
fossil record. So imagine a diameter of the Earth approximately 85 to 88 or 90% its current diameter. That means the gravitational attraction will be a little greater. It has been found that we do need slightly more gravitational attraction. Not only that, it means that with a slightly greater gravitational attraction, the atmospheric gases of the Earth would be pulled closer to the surface, actually doubling the atmospheric pressure. So we have a hyperbaric context. You have an optimal strengthening of the electromagnetic field. You have slight...
Yeah, Nubifier, I've seen that too. I hadn't seen anything refuting it. Because at this point, I take everything I hear randomly online with a pinch of salt. I love artificial banana flavor. And so I wish we actually still had something natural with that flavor. It'd be so cool. But nope, just gone. Sucks.
Slightly enriched oxygen ratio and slightly enriched carbon dioxide ratio. Our studies show that we had approximately 23% oxygen compared to today's 20.7%. On the carbon dioxide levels, today we have 0.026%. We, from studies, analysis of the fossil record, can conclude that prior to the flood, when God created this original Earth, we had approximately 0.3% carbon dioxide.
I wonder where that carbon dioxide increase could have came from. What would have increased ratios by that much? Anyone want to take a guess?
Currently have 0.5 Gauss of electromagnetic energy. Apparently, we had approximately 10 times that much, bringing the Gauss
Wow, 10 times that much.
to 5 Gauss instead.
Wow, 5 Gauss. Hang on, I'm just double checking. What's the Gauss rating on a cheap fridge magnet? Oh yeah, 50. You know those really crummy magnets where if you shut the door, you got something on your fridge and you shut the door on it too hard, it just slides or falls off because of the shock? Yeah, those kind of magnets. You didn't make the point you wanted to make, Carl. Okay, the Earth's magnetic field, while very, very large, is very weak, but it's strong enough to do what it does. Doesn't take much to cause ionized particles to be like, nope. Since, that's how magnets freaking work. Positive, negative charges, like charges repel, same charges attract. Just happens. That's all it takes. So you don't need much. So saying it was 10 times stronger or whatever from 0.5 to 5 doesn't really mean anything in the grand scale.
Of 0.5 that we have today. We're experiencing a lowering of the Gauss moment of electromagnetic energy. So what a wonderful creation God designed. That's day number 3.
Come on, YouTube. Go to the next one. Don't hang on me. What are you doing? Just a moment here while I take the internet browser out back and beat it. Guess I'm gonna have to do this manually, as Chrome breaks completely for me. Good job, Chrome. Good job. Yep, gonna have to reload this one. Okay, is it right? Okay, yeah, we're on the right section. There we go. Sorry about that. Just having the typical case of the browser not wanting to cooperate.
That brings us to day number 4, with the stellar bodies, the galaxies, the blazing suns, the orbiting planets, the moon above the Earth, all wonderfully designed.
Yep, Venus sure is wonderfully designed. 1,000-degree temperatures, atmosphere so acidic your skin would melt off the instant you stepped out of your spacecraft. Um, let's see. You know, freezing like a mother on Pluto, gaseous compressive nightmare on the gas giants. Pick your poison. Yep. I mean, they're cool, but I think they're much more impressive considering their emergent properties of nature, like everything is. Not specially created to show off someone's glory or something. It's just fucking silly.
Of light and the atoms and the distances in space within the atom and outside the atom, there are vibratory oscillations. There's music. It's a symphonic chorus of violins throughout the entire universe. Thus, as God placed the...
Oh yes, I forgot laws into string theory, because that's basically playfully what he's entertaining here as an idea.
Stellar bodies in their position, it is logical to recognize that they too would have the vibratory oscillations because the very nature of their atomic structure, the very nature of the energy that they emit or reflect is all vibratory in nature. In fact, it has been found in very special studies by Kepler and modern studies that the alignment of the planets and the orbit of the planet.
Yep. Every single bit of the universe is designed for us. That's why we can only survive on that tiny, tiny fraction of it, and the rest of it is all instant destruction for us and just about every other bit of life on this planet. Except tardigrades, because, tardigrades can apparently survive everything.
Planets around the sun indicate a perfect musical scale. Now remember, I say perfect, it is approximately perfect. We're going to see shortly that the Earth and the entire universe have been vibrated, have been shaken out of their original positions to some limited degree. Therefore, one of the planets is missing today, and we have an asteroid belt in its place. We'll learn more about that in the near future.
Was this dude about to say Vulcan was real? Is he a subscriber to the Planet X concept? I mean, come on, Carl. What are you talking about?
But watch this. This crystalline firmament, created on day number 2 and appreciated on day number 3 of creation, had some very special characteristics.
Could it make free long-distance calls? If not, then I don't care.
It was crystalline. It was hydrogen bonded into a crystalline lattice, superconducting.
Oh God, yeah. He thinks the crystal canopy is actually metallic hydrogen, not understanding what metallic hydrogen is either. These words, they don't mean what you think they mean. I don't think they don't mean what you think they mean. I know they don't mean what you think they mean.
Conductive in nature, fiber optic, because scientific research shows that if you maintain an energy field in a crystal, transparent crystal, and most of the firmament, Rakia above the Earth was transparent, you actually have a fiber optic transfer so that the night is twilight rather than midnight blackness.
Ooh, twilight night. Free long distance calls, but only after 7 p.m. So I had a friend in California who I didn't have a way to call her, and it not be something. I didn't have a cell phone at the time, but she did. So she always had to call me, which meant the calls happened at 9 o'clock. It's, 2 hours behind me. We would talk late. It was nice.
That means that these plants, in their biological rhythms, would not have the total darkness, but in the rest time would have a gentle bathing of light. What kind of light would it be?
Hey, Carl. Plants actually do prefer a period where it's pretty much as dark as it can get to really just, let things rest and recuperate. They don't actually like being in light 24/7 to that degree. Some species do better than others, but for longevity, generally prefer a nice normal cycle. You can have with some bright light for a while, but most on, good bit off, usually the best. That's how I run my plants over there.
Hydrogen glows pink. Magenta, 63, 65 angstrom magenta. Also, if you compress the atmosphere, the long wave radiation gets through, the short wave is scattered. So you see the color in a compressed atmosphere that you see shortly before sunrise. It's a gentle, beautiful pink. What I'm saying is that the sky before the flood.
The pink color is due to rarefication, scattering of the light into longer spectrums. And if he's talking about hydrogen glowing, it's nitrogen that has a pink glow to it. I don't think hydrogen glows pink. I could be mistaken. But I know because this is relevant to some sci fi I'm working on that ionized plasmatic nitrogen has a pinkish, purplish hue to it.
The sky in the original creation was a designed pink, gentle pinkish hue. That does not mean that everything looked pink, but there was a gentle distribution of the long wave radiation. Botanists have found that it is.
Yeah, ionized hydrogen glows red. And at that stage, ionized hydrogen would just be free electrons and protons. Because, there isn't anything to hydrogen. It's a proton and an electron. That's it. You can't get smaller than that. Now, without it technically not being an element at that stage, but that's neither here nor there.
The red or pink level of radiation that triggers the growth and reproductive cells of plants. Class, did you get that?
So, okay, he's not totally wrong with his metallic hydrogen idea. If any of this behaved the way he thinks it does, but he's still not right.
If it has been found to the satisfaction of botanists that warming the roots of plants just a few degrees above ambient temperature increases the growth and reproductive nature of the plants, and if it has been found.
Oh yeah, hydrogen burns blue. You see that in like the space shuttle main engines and the like. But I was thinking ionized, so not burning, but having electrons stripped from the molecule. Again, it involves a plasma type of thing that I'm working on. A sci-fi story. I could tell you all about it, but it's boring. I need to get around to writing it.
By botanists that bathing with a long wave radiation, gentle pinkish glow in particular, increases the growth and reproductive cells of plants. No wonder in the fossil record we find everything being larger. Today there's a little plant we call the lycopsid club moss. The tallest we can grow it is about 18 inches in stature. Yet, in the fossil record, that same plant got up to 120 feet in stature. No wonder everything was larger. But let's go beyond that.
Everything's bigger in pre-fall Earth. It's like Texas, only with even fewer women's rights, fewer guns, oddly, but a whole lot more of that nationalism going on. Yeah, favored people. Woohoo!
This crystalline firmament, with the energy field and with the sun approaching it at different degrees because of the rotation.
Austin Sims is here. Hey, buddy. Hadn't seen you for a hot second. Go hit up his channel and look at the community tab and just see, or his posts, and see the myriad of facts regarding evolution he's been posting. It has been an information flood of the best kind. Forget Noah's flood. We got the Austin Sims information flood going on. Love it.
means that you have all the ingredients for a transistor or for a crystalline radio receiver. You can make a crystalline radio receiver just by taking a crystal, a quartz rock, has to be a good one. You wind copper coil around that, generating a field. You don't even have to have external energy.
Carl, you dumb son of a bitch, the external energy is the radio signal that you're tuning into. It's causing perturbations in the wire. That's how this works. Do you understand anything, Carl? You seem like a nice guy, as much as a creationist can be, but man, I've seen 4-year-olds who understand this stuff better. Not really, but they seem to want to understand it better than you do.
Then you can use a little pen. And if you get the angle just right, that pen being the receiver, you can actually pick up the local...
Jesus is stored in the balls. Bah! That bah is terrible. I'm never going to come up with a good Carl bah.
radio station. I've done it when I was a kid. All of these elements were in the firmament. Therefore, when the scripture says in...
Okay, so this just in, his metallic hydrogen crystal canopy also was quartz. Because apparently quartz is made of hydrogen. And that's it. Good job, Carl. Real consistent world building there.
Job chapter 38, verse 7, that the morning stars sang together. There is a plausibility to the model. If there is in the planets an oscillating regular rhythm that closely approximates the musical scale so that the tones would be felt on a basis depending on the seasons, if the radio stars give off radio signals and...
But Carl, video killed the radio star, remember? Were you not paying attention? This poor bastard doesn't know that video killed the radio star.
And they do, then there is a mechanism in place to actually receive those signals, and because of the acoustics involved in the crystalline structure, if the angle is just right, there is a plausibility to actually hear some of the notes and some of the tones.
Realize what this... Let me do this in Carl Baughese. Do you understand, class, what Mr. Carl Baugh has just said in this video recording? In effect, he has said that, surprisingly, you could literally hear the music of the planets in the crystalline dome. That is to say, as a fact, the pre-flood world had muzak. That's basically what he's fucking saying. That you could hear space in the crystal, and it must have sounded like songs, and therefore everything had muzak. Adam and Eve sitting there in the Garden of Eden, got some 80s mall music going on. God teaches them how to make babies. They get to knocking boots, and suddenly it turns into a pre-biblical Barry White. Yeah. Men from Mars, women from Venus, get those two planets together, make some real nice music. What kind of crap is this? At least I'm laughing, but damn.
An Italian physicist, Ferla Terenzi, did an amazing work. She took the signals from radio stars, enhanced them, audibilized them, and she stated, we're being hugged by cosmic vibrations. She actually was able to reproduce the sound. Now remember, because of what occurred at the flood, we have had a jarring of the heavens. We've had a disturbance in the heavens.
There's been a disturbance in the heavens. Film at 11.
So the sounds would not be identical to those that would have been received in the original orchestration. I'm convinced that the work of Beethoven, Schubert, Bach would more perfectly synthesize the creation than would much of our modern distortion of music.
Wow. Way to throw a jab at pop culture there, buddy. What a prick. And it's not like any of us, none of us don't have an appreciation for, the era of art music and the like, and lots of older compositions. Um, but again, this idea that people can't just enjoy things and that things can't change and people can't create something new. These guys are all obsessed with creation, but once you create something, oh no, that's too far. You can't create this new music. It's got too many of the bum bums and the screeter and the words that I don't like. Y'all mean. Just remember, the song "Putting on the Ritz." We all think of the 1980s Taco cover, which is based on the Fred Astaire cover, which had alternate lyrics from the original version, which I do like the original lyrics, but they are considered racist. And given that one of the primary original presentations of the song involved blackface, which is referenced in the original version of the Taco music video, by the way, obviously censored at this stage, but you can find it out there. Yeah, and that's a song from the 20s, 30s range. So just saying, Carl, this is music from about when you were born. I think you'd consider that good stuff, but some objections can still be found.
So on day number 4, God coalesced the energy of the light that was already vibrating in nature into star bodies, into galaxies, into beautiful heavens. Now there's evidence found in recent astrophysics that to the galactic north there are huge voids with very few stars. Then there are shells of star clusters, and then another void, and then another shell, hundreds of millions of light years apart. Dr. Hutra and others were amazed as they mapped the heavens in 3 dimensions that to the galactic north there were 7 separate shells of star clusters. And
oh, he's seriously gonna try to say what I think he's gonna try to say. Carl, you ignorant fuck, at the great scale, the universe looks like a fucking sponge. It's just galactic filaments made of galactic clusters and galactic walls, all gravitationally bound in some massive web that is beyond incomprehensible to the human brain at scale. It looks like a sponge. Just straight up. There's no 7 layers, no 7th heaven crap. The only 7th heaven that exists, Carl, was crushed when the Sector 7 plate fell at Midgar. Okay? We lost it. That was the end of that. We had to move on. Thinking about setting up in the gold saucer, but the rent's expensive. Anyway, let me know if you get those references.
to the galactic south there were 7 separate shells of star clusters. Why 7? Why not 6 or...
Because 7 is the magic number you guys decide to roll with, so you gotta bend everything in reality and just make up crap to be like, oh, there were 7 shells of galaxies. Oh, look, 7 heaven, ha ha, heaven.
8 or 10. Written in...
Why not 69? Why not 420? Why not over 9,000? Oh, no.
to the very nature of life are 7s. Written in...
And yes, Seventh Heaven was a 90s show, and that song is now playing in my head the moment he said 7 layers, and I thought, oh, he's talking about the whole Seventh Heaven concept. Hate that show. Oh yeah, the dad in it got like busted on some crap or accused of something, so go figure. Show with strong Christian overtones, turns out that one of the actors in it is a total creep. What a surprise. It's almost as if, you know, some of these thoughts and feelings tend to coincide with people being very, very creepy and very, very scummy. Well, not everybody, but enough seems to enable that kind of behavior. Just saying.
Into the week, the biological structure are sevens. Written into the gestation period of mammals and man are sevens. Written into the very oscillating rhythm of life itself are sevens.
What are you talking about? Gestation period of humans is 9 months on average. A lot of mammals, it's longer. A lot, it's shorter too. Just depends on size and stuff of the animal. But, bro, what the hell are you even talking about?
Thus, it would be logical that in the stellar bodies, you would have 7 spheres of material whose vibrations we receive. That is not to indicate that astrology is based.
Glad this was made before Pluto was demoted from planet to dwarf planet status, because then he'd be like, after Earth, there are 7 planets. Oh, see?
In fact, you're not influenced by the conjunctions of the stars for your behavior and your conduct.
And gotta knock those astrology nerds. Hovin.
But from a physiological
Ma.
standpoint, we are being hugged by energy and vibration and symphony that God designed originally for the benefit of all living systems. Day number 4.
Hooray, this one actually auto-started. Days 5 to 7, interconnectedness. Whoa, interconnectedness. Oof, and the next one's 20 minutes, so this will probably be the last one of these we go through.
That brings us to day number 5. On the 5th day of creation, God created the fish and the fowl. Oh, the marvel in the design. In a companion series, Creation and Symphony, The Evidence.
You can't just make that part of this series. You gotta have companion series. Or do you fucking Disney Star Wars? Fucking Marvel and all this stuff where you gotta go through everything in a particular order to understand what the hell's even going on? No, thank you. I don't even want to be watching this.
I go into some of the details of the orchestration in the design of fish. Here we have killer whales, but in the original design, they were not killers at all. We've been able to illustrate vividly that when the appropriate nutrient supply is met, creatures that today behave errantly, behave as if they were designed to be a part of their environment without becoming carnivorous. The same.
Yes, but Cain still killed Abel because God had preferences over what things sacrificed to him would be better and more valuable. Cain was getting enough nutrients, right? I mean, what are you trying to say, bro? When it comes to the most important animals on the planet that aren't even animals, according to you, oh, no, that criteria is not going to be met. But for all the other animals, sure, why not?
Same would be true with the birds, the fish and the fowl created on day number 3, and probably the insects as well. Now, this means that since
Probably the insects. Whoa, you're putting your interpretation on things. You can't do that.
all the creation is immediate, that on day 5, when God created the fish, they were swimming in the seas. When He created the fowl, they were flying in the atmosphere. It's a fully functional material universe.
You know, couldn't it all have been just poofed into existence at once? Why does it have to be a 6-day process that's completely bass-ackwards from how things actually appear to have developed? Come on, get your story straight. The story sucks, and your fan fiction on it doesn't make it any better.
It's all orchestrated in perfect balance. The amazing design in the skulls and the beaks of the bone structure of the birds and the feathers of the birds all show.
But nothing else. Nothing else about birds is amazing. Just the skulls and the beaks and the feathers. Everything else is garbage. Now let's go eat some chicken nuggets.
An absolute design that could not be the result of chance. It had to be a divinely directed, orchestrated creation. So,
How? You got a citation for that? You got evidence to back that up? Oh, no, just another creationist claim, because of course it is.
on day number 5, the fish and the fowl, the insects, and of course, among those fish, probably the plesiosaurs and some of the marine dinosaur types.
Among the fish, probably plesiosaurs and some of the marine dinosaur types. You know, just probably. I don't know for sure. Go ask Hovind. He knows.
This brings us now to day number 6. On day number 6, God created the land-based dinosaurs. You'll find the dinosaurs in Job chapter 40, generically referred.
Oh, you mean the elephant? Or the hippo? Or any other normal extant mammal from that area? And not at all what you think it is? Because you idiots are illiterate?
to as behemoth. You'll find that God made great creeping things, even took creeping things on the ark at the time.
Yeah, one of those turned out to be Hovind's great granddaddy. Served in the war between Bob and Ted. He was the only survivor of his tribe. Yeah.
Of the flood. So it all is synchronized appropriately. Dinosaurs created on day number 5, day number 6, marine dinosaurs day 5, land-based dinosaurs on day number 6. Then you have the great mammals created on day number 6. Finally, God said, let us make man in our image.
Oh yes, in our image. Let us make man in our image. Plural. Of course, you're just going to claim royal we, but that doesn't work because that isn't what the older translations and such. That isn't the kind of usage in those times. It wouldn't have worked. No, it's copied from a pluralistic, deistic story.
Man that could rule over the creation. I want to put him in charge. So God made man in his own image.
And that was widely panned by everybody. Also, I didn't know God was some white dude.
Breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. But as God,
So, Golem spell. Got it.
being perfect in himself, but being loving in nature and social in nature, was not totally satisfied without fellowship with one like himself in his image. Thus, man could not be totally satisfied until God put him to sleep, performed surgery, took from him a rib. From that rib, as a part of his own,
Couldn't just make the woman outright. Had to use a rib. And had to do it like brutally, like straight up rip a rib out. So stupid.
genetic structure, made woman.
Which means Eve is trans. Good job.
Her up,
Also, why does Adam look like he's trying to take a massive dump? It looks like a runty Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to take a giant dump, and he's using that dinosaur to brace himself, and Eve's just back there enjoying the show. What the fuck is this? And a giant dragonfly looks like some twisted mosquito with that leaf thing going right there, jabbing into his arm like, I'm going to suck out the blood. Arrgh! Mosquito dragonflies attack.
introduce them to each other, and the product of that union is in this class at this very moment.
Really? Kane's chilling? Yo, I want to meet the guy. Hey, bruh, I don't plan on dying yet, but once I do, you want to pop up and make me a vampire? Because that'd be pretty cool. Be freaking second gen. There's no second gens left. That'd be awesome. Sorry, getting into Vampire the Masquerade deep lore there. God, this art is creepy. Holy shit, this is disturbing.
God made man to fellowship. God made woman to be a companion in fellowship with man and with God as well. Oh, the marvel in the construction of man. This man has dominance over all creation. He's to rule the earth. This man has physiological capabilities that no other part of nature can match. Now, all of nature is unique. Animals use tools. Elephants have been known to take sticks and scratch
All of nature is unique. Also, common designer.
their backs. Apes have been known to take a crooked stick and pull fruit near to them.
You know what apes have also been known to do? Dig up minerals from the earth, smelt those minerals to make weaponry, tools, jewels, trinkets. Apes have been known to, get this now, there was a time period where two different tribes of apes were building big ass rockets trying to get some of their own apes to the fucking moon. Apes will do some crazy shit. They've built big bombs using, nuclear materials that you talked about earlier, splitting those and wiping out whole cities. We mapped, excuse me, not we, the apes mapped their own genetic material. The apes figured out that everything in your magic book of BS is BS because those apes are humans.
For the picking. The birds of the field show an amazing ability. There is a particular bird that is able to take a brush and use paint from the field and actually paint her nest. Marvel, marvel in design. All of the creatures have an ability to use all that God placed genetically within them. But man has an exceptional ability. The brain of man.
Seth, the only fun I'm having is the fact that I have my lovely audience here. That's it. This is torture.
Is the most complicated structure in the physical universe.
Really? Really? Really, Carl? Really? I don't even have words.
The brain of modern man, weighing approximately 3 pounds, has over 100 billion cells. Each of these 100 billion cells is connected to 50,000 other brain cells by special neurons. Now, at the time of birth, because we currently live in a hostile environment, somewhat similar to, but unlike in its final dimensions, what it was before the flood. At the time of birth, we've already lost half our brain cells. So genetically.
No. 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 I don't even know where you idiots get this stuff. I guess the citation's going to come up here in a second.
You're designed with 200 billion brain cells. Each of those 200 billion brain cells to be connected by 50,000 connections to other brain cells. What an amazing capacity. In fact, with the 100 billion brain cells that we have, every second, our brain assimilates from the organs of the body and from the environment around us.
Yes, the wonder of God's creation. More creation is garbage. I love when they cite themselves. It's one thing when they cite science and they cherry pick stuff or straw man things or what have you, but then when they cite themselves, it's just like, you patting yourself on the back, like, good job, me, yeah. Because you're all clones. All this clonal organism is actually a human. It's a human system called creationism. Scam of religion. I don't know. I thought that would be funnier than it was. I apologize. My jokes are terrible today. Top tier garbage. You love to see it.
Over 100 million signals every single second. If we learned something new every second and assimilated that with what we already know, it would still take over 3 million years for us to exhaust our capacities, mental capacities. That's incredible, absolutely incredible. And remember that in original design, you're supposed to have over 200 billion brain cells. That means that man is not the product of a chaotic universe.
How? You're just saying it, you're not demonstrating it.
Man is not the product of natural circumstances. Man is the product of a unique design which only a supernatural, transcendent, outside physical dimension, God, could accomplish. God made man, essentially, to live forever and to enjoy the product of the creation. Thus, we have the heavens and the earth complete. Now remember, Psalm 104 states that God has been stretching out the heavens all this time. Man affects those heavens. The very
Congratulations, apparently we can control cosmic inflation. Apparently we have more control over that than we do actual inflation. You know, financial kind. Ayo, terrible joke.
very thought process of man affects everything that is occurring, particularly on planet Earth. Now, I want you to see that all of this orchestration was designed for a system of righteousness. The biblical record says that God hears the heavens hear the earth hears the heavens, the earth hears the corn, the oil, and the wine. Now think about that for a moment. That's in Hosea chapter 2. That means there's an interrelationship of signals between all that's going on.
He wants to knock astrology earlier, which is BS, of course, but he wants to knock astrology earlier, and then it's like the corn and the oil all talk to the heavens, and heavens talk to the earth, and the talking donkeys were real, and Carl, what the fuck?
The earth actually picks up signals from space and transfers signals back to space. In the pre-flood world, when that firmament was in place, it was an amplifier. It photo-multiplied energy coming in from space, but it would also do the same with signals that we send out to space. It would also enhance those signals. Thus, we find an interrelationship and a monitoring, and God superintending over all of this. As the Scriptures state that God hears the heavens, that means He monitors those heavens and directs them. As the heavens hear the earth, literally, there is a monitoring system. That's not an indication that there are ears out in the stellar heavens, but it does indicate, as has been found by nuclear physicists, that gravity waves affect everything going on. Anytime there's a...
That doesn't mean there's ears out there, but it does mean that gravity... What? Hi, I've got this box of potatoes. And also, here's a Super Nintendo. Okay.
a disturbance here, it affects the sun and the distant galaxies. Oh, to a very tiny, minute amount, but it affects the distant galaxies. Every time there's a disturbance in the distant galaxies, we are affected by gravity waves, which involve the warp and woof of all the universe itself. Thus, physicists have found in the area, laboratory, domains, that school children, by thought process alone,
this speculative concept awaits additional scientific research and confirmation. Translation, we're making shit up. Don't sue us.
can alter the decay rate of radioactive materials. Did you get that? School children whose...
Wow, okay, so we can just think Chernobyl back into a nice, happy place to live. I mean, I'd live there. I don't care. But, you know.
minds have better perspicuity than we adults with our fragmented attentions. Greater focus. School children are able to literally alter the decay rate of atomic materials. They can alter the internal structure. Physicists have found that the mind actually plays a part in monitoring all that's going on and actually can influence the proton and the internal structure of the atom at the subatomic particle basis. Physicists admit to this reality. That means that man had an awesome responsibility. If he could determine and influence the decay rate of radioactive materials, let's see if he can do anything with biological systems.
Wow. I didn't expect it to go into outright sci-fi, like grade A 50s trash sci-fi. Not even the good trash, but just complete garbage. Wow. Wow. I think this man might have brain damage.
In those same laboratories, the French found that by thought process alone, they could monitor growth of fungi and bacteria, enhance it by thought process alone, or diminish it by thought process alone. Now, in the original design and creation, when everything was harmonious and man was in fellowship with God, this worked out beautifully. But that brings us to an awesome concept.
What was I gonna say? Awesome concept. I know. Sonic and Knuckles had that slot at the top so you could hook up Sonic 3 and then get the whole damn game that you were actually supposed to have. That was pretty cool. And then they decided to add in that 256 kilobyte patch ROM that put in collision detection and altered a few of the level elements for Sonic 2 to allow you to play through it as Knuckles, which was harder because Knuckles can't jump as high as Sonic. Those were awesome concepts. I wish they would have made Sonic 1 playable. I have ROMs now where Knuckles is playable in Sonic 1. People said it was because, the game crashed when you hit a slanted conveyor belt. But no, it works fine without stuff. It was a matter of color issues that they just didn't have the time and didn't want to bother trying to fix. Then probably a few other issues as well because of the differences between Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 and 3's engines. But yeah, those were cool concepts. What you're talking about isn't a cool concept. You're just making shit up.
All religions account for chaos. In all religions but one.
Yep, he said we can influence the decay rate of radioactive isotopes. As I said, and if that's the case, then drop me off in Chernobyl and let me just clean the whole thing up. Give me a little place to live, I'm good. Pay me, and you don't have to pay me for the effort. Just give me food. Give me resources. I'm happy.
That chaos is a part of the very original structure of the cosmic egg, as they envision it. But in biblical Judeo-Christian revelation,
yes, Karl Baugh thinks that every other religion is chaos and is focused on this, that, the other, and that Christianity's right because it focuses on something different, even though it all focuses on some of the same elements. Just depends on how which approach you want to take to discussing the theology.
that chaos is a result of the fall. Class, watch very closely.
Oh, are you about to fall over? That might make me laugh. Throw a banana peel on the floor. Maybe play a whoop bong sound when it happens. That'd be funny.
Many religions account for the fall one way or another. Let's make an accounting for the fall here that, in my opinion, puts together so much. Man in perfect fellowship with God, harmonious and in tune on the same wavelength with his master, his Adonai, would in turn transmit and encourage growth wherever he desired to go on planet Earth. Whatever his needs were in an area.
That art is so fucking disturbing.
He could actually, to some degree, enhance by concentration on the beauty around him. All of this designed in the creation.
People are magic, yo. Bible says so. Karl Baugh says the Bible says so. We got film at 11.
But once he lost fellowship with his Creator, that symphony is now inharmonious. and there's disturbance in the vibes. Man's mind
So what you're saying is the vibes are off, bro? Because they sure are. Not in the way you think.
can actually influence the decay rate of radioactive materials. That means that in the 1700 years,
All right. That's enough discussion about Tim Wahlberg, Mark Allen, Schwarzenegger, Arnoldson. All right.
from the creation of Adam and Eve to the flood, or in those 1700 years from the fall to the flood,
Sure does, Dog Walker. Sure does.
when the scripture says the earth was filled with violence, that's not just a minor suggestion. That means that actually the thought process of man, and man uniquely, no other creatures have been found to imbibe this particular repository of abilities to be able to change the decay rate of radioactive materials.
And humans haven't either, you fucking moron. Oh, this is priceless. Oops. Wrong key. Wrong key again.
And it has been found that sick plants actually can be disturbed further, or can actually be brought on the subatomic level to disturbance and induce sickness by radiation. If energy waves have the ability to produce this after the fall, no wonder thorns and thistles and mutations appeared as a direct consequence of the fall of man. Whether man induced this or God.
Oh, there were no thorns, there were no thistles, there were no weeds. There were plenty of herbs, but no weeds. The fuck?
God permitted that genetic expression as a symbol that errancy, disharmony, and discord had invaded the earth? We do not know, but it's obvious that it had. It's obvious that when the scripture says the earth was filled with violence through them, through
It's obvious that this shit is all made up. Got him.
man, that there was an increasing violent activity among plants, among animals, and an increasing violent activity inside the earth. Remember that the earth was designed as a perfectly balanced nuclear reactor.
No, it wasn't.
Now we come to the flood.
Oh, and that's going to have to wait till the next stream on the Carl Ball subject, because that's about all I can handle. We've streamed for an hour. We've had fun. We've had laughs. We've been very, very confused. And all in all, I rate it 0 out of 10. This sucks. See what else my lovely audience has to say in the remainder of the chat, and then we are off. How many young Earth creationists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but they'll argue for 6 days about how it was made. Nice. Laura pops in. Think super hard. Nope, my body is still decaying and I'm not getting younger. Carl lied. Well, it's only radioactive decay, not normal decay. It's the radioisotopes. I'd love to see how they did this psychic blocking of radiation experiment. Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's some stuff that it seems like, what's his name? James Randi would have covered back in one of his programs from about the same time, or documentary he was involved in. It's crazy. Let me maximize myself while I'm here. There we go. We can possibly find a unique scenario that will affect decay rate. That doesn't mean it's likely to happen in nature. Yeah, totally reasonable. I mean, we can easily affect decay rates by, putting particular materials around to reflect, absorb, or, inhibit neutrons in a certain way, as I discussed earlier with neutron moderation. No, the sun is a nuclear reactor. The Earth is a hot rock. Yeah, very, very basically. But all right, this has been one of the streams of all time. Definitely streaming later. Gonna go get some late afternoon lunch, something extra in my system. All I've eaten is cereal so far today. I always eat light on Saturdays and Sundays. Um, I'm a little hungry. I'm gonna get some food in me, and then we'll come back here in a bit. Sorry, I'm getting yawning fits here. I always do. Come here in a bit, and I don't know if we're gonna do some more Hovend or what we're gonna do. But I think I'll be able to stream again later and be feeling up to the. Oh wait, I know exactly what we'll do. King Crocoduck Hovend Part 2. We'll do that tonight. So watch for it. It's gonna happen. And let the record show that our crazy friend Ud is looking for a girlfriend. Hey, wants a boyfriend free girl? Christian. Sorry, I had to. Uh, internet is a fun place. But I'm gonna hop off here and get some food in my system. Much love, everyone, as always. If you didn't see it, go and check out that video I uploaded where I just ramble on for about 10 minutes about Hovend not understanding the concept of anonymity online aliases, and all that jazz. Uh, yeah, no more Carl later. Not more Carl. Just gonna do. I know the stream's delayed. Definitely gonna do more. Do the Crocoduck Hovend Part 2. Um, but yeah. Sorry, these yawn fits are insane. Be sure to give the video a like. Share if you have anyone who would find this funny. If not, that's cool too. And do all the other things that YouTube likes. Cause yeah, helps and inspires me to make more content and then get them views up. Makes me want to make more for even more views. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But yeah, seriously, y'all are awesome. Catch y'all later with Hoven versus Crocoduck. Later.